Welcome to the Miracles and Millions Show. This is your go-to show for living a life of miracles, where we're taking the limits off what you believe is possible. It's time to play big, be bold, and shine bright. I'm your host, Michelle Humphrey. Hello, and welcome to the Miracles and Millions Show. My name is Michelle Humphrey, and I truly am honored to be your host. And today we are speaking to and talking about one of the key things that has absolutely changed the quality of my life for the better. And I can guarantee you it will change your life for the better. And I know guarantee is a pretty strong word and oh my goodness, can I really say that? But yes, I can. And here's why. Because it works in conjunction with the way the universal laws work. Meaning the universal laws cannot play favorites. It's not that it can give me a great life and not give you a great life. Everything works on this planet in conjunction with laws, and the laws apply the same exact way to everybody. So as an example, you can picture this in your mind. If I'm holding a pen in my hand and I open my hand and I let it go, guess what? That pen is falling to the ground regardless if I'm holding the pen or if you're holding the pen. That's the law of gravity. Well, the law of universe, meaning the laws that literally help us to create our life, our lifestyle, everything that's in our life works the same way. And I know people have heard like law of attraction, but it goes beyond just a law of attraction. It literally goes into you are the manifester of your entire world. And it's everything that you think, say, and do and become is what the universe is picking up on. No matter what is going on in your life, think of it as simple. It's either you like it or you don't like it. Let's just put everything in your life into those two categories. And if you don't like something, regardless of what it is that's showing up, what happens is most people talk about, let's call that the problem. They talk about the darkness. They talk about what they don't like and what happened to them and how could this be happening. And, we're still dealing with the rippling effects of this COVID, and now we have rioting going on. And what do you hear all around you is what's not working, what they don't like, right? And there's this argument constantly that keeps people in a place that causes them not to feel good. So here's what we want to do. Regardless of what's going on, there's just two ways to look at it. You're either wanting to energize more of it or wanting to energize less of it. And when something is happening in our world, in our personal world, on the global stage, inside of us, it doesn't matter. If we put our attention on what we don't want, we're going to get more of it. But here's what's great. If we celebrate the solution, so here's the whole focus of where we want to go deep, is celebrating the solution. And I could already hear some of you saying, like, I don't know what the solution is. I would celebrate it. I would focus on that. I would energize that if I really knew what the solution is. And I'm here to say, you're selling yourself short. You always know the solution. So think of it this way. When a problem, an issue, a challenge, something shows up in your world that you don't like, 95% of the time, what you want is the exact opposite. So, example, I'll give you just something as simple as this is I certainly, like everyone else got, affected by this whole COVID experience, and it changed my world in a pretty dramatic way in multiple ways. One of them was my husband and I, we have a 9-year-old son, and of course he wasn't going to school. And with no exaggeration, the school didn't do very much to step up. They literally had a check-in on Monday for 30 minutes and a check-in on Friday for 30 minutes on a Zoom call. The beginning of the week, it was like, here are your assignments. The end of the week is checking in that they had the verbal that you did it. Literally, there was no teaching. So my husband and I, and thank goodness we have a family that comes together and focuses on solutions. But yeah, we, not only on top of all of our work and everything that we did during the day, became teachers on top of that. And we wound up really spending about each day an extra, I'd spend about an hour and a half with my son, and my husband would spend an hour and a half with my son because he was getting lost by himself. He was literally too young to focus on all this stuff. The way the school did it was, you either read books or you watched videos, and then you did these check-in assignments, and it's a lot for a 9-year-old. So he just wasn't doing that great sitting there by himself. He'd get lost, he'd get bored, he'd daydream, he'd wander. But here's my point. I'm having to carve out an extra hour and a half of my day. My husband was doing that on top of everything else that was going on. Plus, there's no extra help. I used to have house cleaners and people coming in to, prep my food, and, different things got delivered to the house that I didn't have to do. And, never did, laundry or cleaning or all this stuff. And all of a sudden, no one's coming to the house, and there's, my husband and I doing it all, and homeschooling and running the business. It was so much. But I could have focused on what I didn't have, what wasn't working, which there were definitely days, I'm going to be really transparent, I did. It felt so overwhelming to me. People are like, oh, I have so much time. I'm like, I have so much less time. How do you have so much more time? Because I was doing more things, all these things that I had hired out and help with my son. And now on top of that, at least once a week, my husband and I would go out on a date, and we'd bring in either a babysitter, or we had this great place that we could drop him off to that did hourly childcare that I had literally had hundreds of hours on file. I don't even know if that business is still, going to make it through COVID. We haven't heard yet. But here's the thing. Instead of focusing on what we didn't have, and I get it, there was so much you could focus on during these, last few months of what we don't have. But my husband and I finally started saying oh my God, what is the solution? And short term, it may have looked like, even to us, I don't know, how do we spend more time? So here's what we did with a 9-year-old. And I'm just telling you, desperate times calls for a little bit different measures sometimes. We got my son a cell phone, and there was times that we just went out and we went for a drive for a half hour, 45 minutes. We didn't leave him alone often, but it was, we're going for a walk. And I don't know if I would have left a 9-year-old in the house, but we had gotten him a cell phone. We gave him some very clear rules. He was not to go into the kitchen and try to prepare anything or turn on the oven or anything. We locked the doors. He wasn't to, open the door, right? We had all these guidelines and rules. And I don't think I would have ever left a 9-year-old for 45 minutes to an hour, but we wound up doing that multiple times a week just so my husband and I could have some just alone time and space. And, I'll say this even transparently on the podcast. I was the woman who, a little uncomfortable to kind of fool around with, my husband, with my son, in the house, unless I knew he was already really in a deep sleep. But, he's staying up later. By the time he's going to bed, sometimes it's 10:30. And now it's I'm bumping up against the time I want to go to bed. So where's that alone time? He's up in the morning. We're up in the morning. There was never this alone time. And my husband and I said, okay, we got to find ways to connect during the day. This can't be at, we're only going to connect at 10:30, sometimes 11 o'clock at night. You're tired, you're just done with your day. And okay, that's my great romantic time with, your partner. It wasn't working so well. So even though we weren't getting a break, there weren't really dates for, months and months on end, we came up with, we call them Mac attacks. And what Mac is making out and connecting. And we would do these Mac attacks in our master bedroom closet. So it was great because you have to walk through our master bedroom. We didn't want to lock the door if, our son was awake and stuff. But it was, if we could hear him, if he was coming up, and I never wanted to just fool around on the bed, just in case, he walked in, right? Yuck. Don't want to be those parents for him. But we didn't fool around, but we have a really big walk-in closet, and we set up the walk-in closet with, pillows and a nice comfortable chair. And it was just oh, you know what? And then we can close the sliding door into the master closet. And that was an extra layer. We could hear him if he was definitely coming up. And yes, you had to be careful on how dressed or not dressed you were, but it was just kissing. If you can, I know, I just speak more business, but, the woman inside of me and the man, if you're a man listening to this, even if you're just kissing, seriously, just kissing for a couple minutes. And we, at first we were it's just for 5 minutes, and 5 minutes was 10 minutes and 20 minutes. And it was just this, oh my gosh, like we're kissing, we're petting, we're touching, we are fooling around. And I tell you that because I was focusing on the solution. My husband was focusing on the solution. We were seeing that we were connecting. And here's what I can share. Even instead of pecks, like little, mwah, great to see you, mwah, see you later, goodbye, right? And that's what I think most people do, these little baby pecks on, the cheek or the lips, is just hold that lip-to-lip kiss connection for, I heard this once, and it was called the 6-second kiss. So just for 6 seconds, and just feel that, you feel like that person's into you more so. And we just started like little things like that to feel more connected. And then here's what happened. All of a sudden, 10:30, 11 o'clock, where you've been like really connected, you've made out, you've been a little flirty, and you're not quite as tired at 10:30 when you're like, okay, I think I do have more energy than I think I did, right? And yeah, a lot of times we did fool around like after my son was in bed. And I say that as a miracle, right? I say that as, oh my goodness, things that you could always do to celebrate and focus on the solution. So one of them, and use more of a personal relationship, and I'll give you a couple more, how to celebrate the solution with anything. The other thing that really got affected is I'm a yoga girl, and multiple times a week, 3-4 times a week, I would drive to my yoga studio. And guess what was closed during COVID, right? Yoga studios still not opened yet, struggling to, work out and keep in shape. So, primarily in March it started, and, I think we're all thinking this was only going to be a couple weeks. And then April, kind of rolls around. And by the end of April, I think I had gained 6 or 7 pounds, right? Because you're home and you're not going out. And, we just weren't really, even going for walks in San Diego, which is where I live. It rained practically like half of April. The weather was really stinky out here. And we had, thank goodness, have a second house in Phoenix, Arizona. And we went out there 3 times literally in April, and that helped it. But it was like, just eating and foods that you don't normally eat, right? So seriously, at the end of April, I'm going, oh my gosh. And the joke I heard was, oh yeah, it's the COVID 15. Forget about the freshman 15, the COVID 15. And I'm already up, probably 6, I don't even know, maybe it was 7 pounds by the end of April. And I'm going, oh God, like I can't have another month like this. As a freshman, I gained like 15 pounds. I'm not doing that again. So here's the solution, celebrate this solution. May, I was doing Facebook Lives every single day. And I focus on the teachings of what's called effortless prosperity. It's really based off of A Course of Miracles and how you become so aware of everything that you're thinking and saying and doing, and what meanings are you giving things. And the focus of that book and course is really about creating money more effortlessly, but you can use it for anything. So I used it as a focus in May for creating effortless health. And here's what's great. I went through May with every single day. I was doing Facebook Lives. I was really mentally focusing on how easy it was to get in shape, even if I'm not, going to my yoga studio. I was doing more walks. I was eating really clean. And here's what's great. By the end of May, not only had I dropped all the weight that I had gained, 6 or 7 pounds, whatever it was, I was down, less than I had been in, way before COVID had started. And, so I dropped about 8.5 pounds through the month of May. And it was just, oh, great. I was focusing on the solution. I was focusing on the way that I wanted to feel, right? Never went to the yoga studio. Obviously, never, did anything, going to the gym or all the different things that I like to do. But it was, what could I focus on? What could I celebrate? And it was celebrating, effortless health, that it was easy to get in great shape. Just stopped really eating, a lot of the carbs that I was eating, just made smoothies in the morning, salads for lunch, a healthy protein or vegetables or something simple for dinner, and was drinking a lot of water. And it was, wow, I'm celebrating the solution. Here's the other thing that I did. I wound up getting this picture where I was in really like the best shape of my life. And I had really, I just really gotten rockin' shape there for a while. And I wound up blowing up that picture like to 5 feet, literally almost lifestyle, and putting that up in my kitchen. And that's who I am. It was a reminder of that's who I am. So I want you to hear me. You could always celebrate the solution. What is the solution? What it is that you want to create. You got to put your attention on where it is that you want to go. So with my husband, my first example was we wanted to feel more close and connected, right? I could have complained about the lack of connection and no time to go out, and we're not going on dates, and, the whole, long distance, learning with school and being home teachers. Gosh, guys, like, how unenjoyable is your life? No, we focused on the solution, and we've never made out like practically every day and doing these Mac attacks, and we invite each other. So like one day it's my day to be, send the text and be like, okay, meeting in the closet, in 15 minutes type of thing. Or then the next day he's doing it. And we just, it doesn't matter what's going on. Like, we're just going to start kissing. And it's like, we have our little rules, got to brush our teeth, right? I ask him to shave each day, which is great because some days through COVID, not only, he wasn't shaving, it's like days we weren't showering, right? But like, oh my goodness, if we're going to be connecting, we're freshened up a little bit, just to be very respectful on that level. So you could do it with relationships. I did it with my health. And I'll give you one more example with business and money. Our businesses were radically affected with COVID. Oh my goodness. We have multiple businesses. One of them is a vacation rental business. And we have multiple houses. In the company, there's literally 24 houses. And one of the houses is our own personal house, the second one in Phoenix. And when this whole thing happened, within the first week, the company lost over $350,000 worth of bookings. Yes, you heard me right. It was a big, oh my God, freak out. But here's what immediately we went towards, we're going to make more money this year than we ever have. And thank goodness all of the houses are luxury homes. Most of them are, 7-8 bedrooms, and they're large and they're beautiful. And here's what happened. We did the whole marketing kind of pivot to, hey, if you're going to self-quarantine, get out of your little place, get out of your cold weather states and come to Phoenix, Arizona. And do you know Phoenix and it became the number one place to self-quarantine in the entire country. And I do believe a lot of that was just the marketing. I mean, thank God, the weather March, April, May, June in Phoenix is really gorgeous. And you know what? Yes, we dropped the price, and yes, we did not make quite as much, but every single house was booked like around the clock. And Arizona was one of the first states to open. So we were so protected with that because we stayed focused on the solution. I'll give you one more. I'm a business coach and trainer, and I put on live events. And I was actually, it would have been last week, I was scheduled to have a live event. And just when this whole thing with COVID started, it's like, all right, I'm not going to do my live event. And the way that, in the past I filled my events was more the old school way. I mean, I've been a coach and trainer for 20 years. So yes, I use social media and I use online stuff, but it's more about me going out, speaking engagements, meeting people face to face, working with them, inviting them. So it was, what is this going to look like? And I can't put on a live event, that I really want to, which is the part that I love the most. But here's what I did. Instead of focusing on the problem, I started celebrating the solution. And what's the solution? What does the solution look like? And even if you don't know all the parts of it, some of the parts. And it was, what? I want to get together with people. That is my heart. That's what lights me up. I celebrate all the people who, put on virtual events. And I know, they did a great job, but that just was not where my heart was. Where my heart is I love doing the retreats. I have a spectacular home, as I said, in Phoenix, Arizona. And it was, wow, I can run small retreats, and it's an 8-bedroom home. And the vision is, and I'm calling them the True You Results Retreats. And it's just going to be 7 people, right? Each person can have their own bedroom. Of course, I need a bedroom. And we're just running these like really connected, heart to heart, get the results you want. So there's going to be 4 retreats, and each one will have a different theme. One is focused on money. It's going to be the mastery of money, the energy around money, and allowing yourself to feel and know and believe in every cell of your body how rich and prosperous you are, to align to at least doubling your income and having the money to do what it is that you want to do when you want to do it, to know that literally every dollar that you spend, at least 2 or 3 or 10x can be returned back to you, that you are rich, that you are prosperous, that everything that you think, say, and does turns into success, right? And here's, again, by law. This works by law. So if you've heard of other of my podcasts, it's like I always bring it back to, Miracles in Millions and how I've opened up to making millions. It simply comes down to this. It wasn't because I had the greatest strategies to make the millions, or it was because of, somehow, money fell out of the sky, or, whatever sometimes people think, like, oh, how do you make so much money? I grew up with nothing. I grew up with, I was living in a trailer park. I mean, my goodness, the lights were getting turned off all the time as a kid because my parents didn't have the money to even pay for the electric bill, right? Like I was raised in such a poverty mindset. And then for a good chunk of my life, up until my early 30s, I was working my tail off. I mean, I had gotten a corporate job, and then I was waitressing on the side, and then I used to bartend, every other weekend, Friday and Saturday nights, just for more money. I was working 3 separate jobs, and you know what? I was still struggling with money. What turned this all around was, as I've shared, is, I met a mentor, the whole beliefs and concepts around this effortless prosperity, and he helped me to understand that it had really so little to do with what I was doing to create money. It was like, what do I believe about money? And I had terrible beliefs about money. I mean, I believed money was hard to make. I believed that, gosh, it felt like I used to say this all the time, like I had a hole in my pocket. It didn't matter how much money I had. Like I never was able to keep the money, and all the limitations with beliefs, and, I'll never make that type of money, or I wasn't from that type of family, or I don't know what to do to make that type of money, right? And as I healed all these limitations and all these beliefs about money, and I realized, oh my goodness, like money is just playing the game that I've set up for it. I've now have a great relationship with money. I'm so abundant with money. I always have money. I am like protected with money no matter what I do. Money finds me, and I literally say it's like all my bank accounts have at least 6, 7, and 8 figures, and soon to be 9 figures of generational wealth. And sure enough, multiple accounts that have 6 and 7 figures, and then, they're building up to 8 and 9 figures of generational wealth. And what allows that is you believe it, and then you open up to ideas and resources and people, because the universe will conspire to help you, right? So to imagine going so deep and believing, right? Everything that you want to believe about money, creating a really healthy relationship. So we're going to do 7-day immersion retreats. And then for the next 30 days, we are going to have a call every day, so you keep the alignment. And then from there, once a week. And we're going to go really deep with money. And we're not just going to do it with money, because your true you is meant to also be loving and kind and in healthy relationships. So another retreat is going to be a 7-day immersion just on love and the connections and being able to open your heart. Because I will tell you, the majority of people do not walk around with a fully opened heart, and you're not allowing yourself to experience the depth of love that you really want, the connection, the closeness that you really want and deserve. And it's, oh my gosh, it's the elixir of life, is to feel deep love, pure love, unconditional love. So we're going to go really deep on opening your heart and feeling the love that you want, and knowing that honestly, it's the safest thing that you can do. Most people, they have a heart that's partly closed because they think that's how they're protecting themselves, but you're working against yourselves. Without a fully opened heart, you're not playing full out in the world, and you don't let people in at the level that you want to feel close and connected and valuable and treasured and cherished and all that good stuff. So one of them is going to be about love, and then same format where, we're going to come out, and for 30 days, we'll do a call every day just to condition this and realign this. And we're going to do this with small groups of people, so you're growing and expanding with other people. And then we'll play that one out, 1 call a week for a year. And then we're going to do it with health. Together, we're going to do a cleanse and a detox for 7 days and get you really again, aligned to the true you. Like you're meant to be healthy and have energy to do what it is that you want to do when you want to do it. And then we'll continue that cleanse for another 30, depending on someone's health, 30 to 60 to maybe 90 days, right? To really help them and be supported in the group. And again, daily calls for the first 30 days and then weekly calls thereafter. And then we're going to do one on spirit, really connecting and opening up to the spirit world, this beautiful world that's consistently always here for you, to love you, to support you, to conspire with you, right? And help you to really get in contact, if you will, if you've never meditated or you've meditated like I have for almost the last 20 years, to open you up to those higher levels of support, right? That invisible world that is so here for you, to love you, to celebrate who you are. Oh my goodness. So we're going to do that, a 7-day immersion also. And then, for the first 30 days, daily calls, and then thereafter, once a week calls. And we're doing them with small, intimate groups of people. And here's the reason, guys, when you can allow yourself to feel who you really are, the true you, and get the results, right? I'm all about results. I've always been that way as the coach. It's like, I go for the results. I go for the shift. I go for allowing you to really double, as a business coach, it was always like, at least doubling or tripling. And some people have truly even 10x'd their business profits, right? Like it's just whatever it takes to get there. I'm all about it. But I also want that for all aspects of your life. And the biggest thing that I can assure you what's happened for me through this COVID experience is just I've taken more time to really tune into the true me, who I really am, what lights me up, what excites me. And like, okay, I'm just been kind of fine tuning. Well, what does that look like with my business? And that's what I'm here celebrating, the solution, right? Even though I wasn't doing the live events and the bigger things, it was like, no, where the juices for me is small, intimate groups. And I've always loved that. I'm like, that's what we're doing. And I started they never really canceled, at least in Arizona, 10 or less people gathering. And I'm like, you know what? I'm safe doing this. And I'm setting up something that really creates the closeness and the intimacy that I want and really creates the results. So that's what I'm here to share. It's like, celebrate the solution. There is always the solution. Think of it this: when the problem shows up, the challenge, the issue, whatever it is that you don't like, there's always the solution that shows up with it. There's always that different perception that, oh, what do I really want? And, I can certainly help you to work through the doubt or the disbelief that, can I really have what I want? I know that's the big thing that blocks most people. And I'm here to say, yes, you can. And once you claim what it is that you really want, hear me when I say this, the entire universe conspires to help you. If you allow yourself to really believe that you can have what you want, that you can see the solution, that somehow, some way, even if you don't know the how, right, which is where most people get trapped. Well, Michelle, I don't know how it's going to happen. 95% of the time, guess what? I don't know how it's going to happen. But here's what's great. When you don't know how it's going to happen, you got to trust, you got to have faith that somehow, some way you will be guided, right? So again, wanted to create more free time or quality time with my husband. It was like, okay, what's the solution? What's the solution? What could that look like? Didn't know. Oh, Mac attacks, right? Let's text each other to have these Mac attacks in the closet. You know what? Let's get out a little bit. Let's get our son a cell phone. Let's go for drives. Let's go pick up food together. Let's go for a quick walk on the beach, right? And all that, it was just, oh my God, it has transformed our relationship. Another thing, like I said, with health, oh my gosh, what is this going to look like? Oh, just focused on effortless health. Okay, what does effortless health look like? Right? And then I just started using the lessons of effortless prosperity for effortless health. That was great. Found actually, I don't even know if I mentioned this, a super simple workout I can do for the most part 10 to 12 minutes each day, right? Moves my body, keeps me flexible. Boom, got that done. Nailed it. Okay, can't do my live events or, at least the way that I had wanted to in the time frame. It was like, okay, well, what do I want? What does that look like? Oh, play with that. Oh, what do I like best? The intimacy, the small connected groups, results for people, aligning people to their true selves, the, results, all that type of stuff. And sure enough, came up with this idea, right? So I'm here to say, if you're focused and you're committed and you're willing to always celebrate the solution, Your life is going to be transformed and it's going to work in alignment to the universe. You literally manifest and create more of what it is that you focus on. So what you think about, what you talk about, what you energize. And hear me, and I'll wrap up by saying this. Focus on the solution. Focus on the outcome of what it is that you want to create versus what it is that you don't like. Very last thing that I'll say. I've been married literally, oh my goodness, 18 years, but I've been with my husband truly like half my life. I'm 53 and come October, my husband and I, we met in 1993. So 27 years ago, truly like half my life. And here's what our agreement has been our entire marriage. We knew stuff was going to happen. We knew at times we were going to irritate each other, bother each other, piss each other off, right? It's going to happen. But here's what we said. We're not going to just bitch and complain and make each other wrong and focus on what we don't like about each other. If we did that, how in love are you going to stay? We just always said, you know what? Let's just focus on what we want to create, right? What do we want to create? And there was plenty of times I will share early in the marriage. It's this, well, you did this, this, and this. And he'd be like, well, you did that or said this or did that. And we're both like, okay, like where are we going with this? Like, what's the solution? In times we'd be like barely talking to each other. And what's the solution? Well, and it's sometimes like, I don't want you. And it's like, no, what's the solution? What do you want? And be like, oh, what do I want? What do I want? Right. And then finally I'd be like, I want to be loved. I want to be respected. I want to be cared for. I want to be cherished. I want to be heard. Right. And you're like, okay, great. What does that look like? Right. And, my husband would just be like, same thing. It's like, well, when you do this, all right, what do you want? Shut up. What do you want? Right. And we just had to get better and better through the years of like, what do you want this to look like? You get to have what you want. What do you want? And I'm like, oh my gosh, and then, your brain's like, is there a solution? Is there a way to really work through this? But I can tell you now, with half my life celebrating the solution, there's always a solution. And there's always a solution, hear me when I say this, that's based in love. You can be kind, you can be gentle with your partner if it's with somebody else. Be kind, loving, and gentle with yourself. Forgive yourself. Gosh knows, I think sometimes we spend more time beating ourselves up and making ourselves wrong than loving ourselves. You know what? The past is over and done with. Allow yourself to say, you know what? That's not going to happen again. I'm going to do my very best to focus on what it is that I want to create and celebrate the solution. So I just pray that this is touching the deepest part of your heart. There is always a solution to absolutely any problem or challenge. And it's grounded in love and it's grounded in your heart's desires. So celebrate the solution. And I look forward to connecting with you very soon. And if you feel inspired or just feel like you need additional support, you can go to michellehumphrey.com, MICHELLE, Humphrey, HUMPHREY.com/call. And, it might be with myself or one of my coaches. And we're here to support you guys. There's so much I know showing up for so many people. And sometimes just hearing yourself say what it is that you're stuck in and, having someone else just suggest a solution or a different point of view, oh my goodness, can so support where it is that you want to go. So know I could be a great resource for you, wrapping you in so much love and light to enjoy the rest of your day. And again, if that feels something, it resonates with you and me and my team can support you, go to michellehumphrey.com/call and we will hook you up. We will get you connected one way or the other. Okay, enjoy. And remember to like the show, rate the show, 5 stars. Just really starting to get this in motion and learn the game a little bit and love to have your support as well. All right, big hug. Talk soon. Bye for now. Be a part of the conversation on Facebook and become a Miracles and Millions manifester at michellehumphrey.com/connect. Let's play together because living miracle-minded is the gift you give yourself that has a massive impact on others and paves the way to make you millions. Your time is now.